Hey, what's up, everybody? This is B&J Productions. I'm Jacob, and this is Brandon, and today we are doing our Week 9 picks. Starting off, we got number 6 Georgia versus number 9 Kentucky. Georgia is a 9-point favorite, even though they are on the road. Kentucky's had a couple good wins. Georgia came back from a loss of LSU 2 weeks ago with a win last week. And who do you got here, Brandon?
I'm going to say Kentucky just because that's what I want to see. I just want to see Kentucky win.
Well, yeah. We're completely on opposite ends here. Georgia, I think, is going to wipe the floor with Kentucky. I think Kentucky, the only thing that's good about them is their front seven. I mean, A&M beat them, and they've had some rocky times this year trying to do things on the offensive side of the ball. But I got to go with Georgia in a pretty big win over Kentucky this time. It's probably for the East Championship in the SEC. Up next, we got number 20 Texas A&M versus non-ranked Auburn. A&M is a 4-point underdog at Auburn. And who you got here, Brandon?
I'm going to say A&M wins this game right here. I think Jimbo Fisher has a good game plan going in. And I think skill-wise, maybe not the best team, but they always seem to have a great plan for their SEC team matchups.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to go with A&M in a really close one, but even though I picked them against Mississippi State last week, they did not get it done, could not keep Nick Fitzgerald from running the football, and when he threw it either. The bad thing about A&M's defense is not the run defense, but the pass defense, and I don't think Auburn has a very good pass offense right now, so I think A&M gets a close one because of their defense. Up next, we got number 13 West Virginia versus number 17 Texas. Texas is a 2-point favorite at home. It could be a Big 12 championship matchup unless Oklahoma does a lot better. So who you got here, Brennan?
I'm going to say West Virginia comes into Austin and takes this one. I think Will Grier will have an amazing game this week. Is he still a Heisman candidate? Or is
No, I think he fell out of that.
Okay, I think he's going to step it up this week and show that he actually does have some talent.
And West Virginia and Texas both fell to kind of some lowly teams in the Big 12 with Oklahoma State beat Texas and Iowa State beat West Virginia. Iowa State is a whole lot hotter than what Oklahoma State was, so I got to go with West Virginia here in a relatively close game. Texas is good at Austin, but West Virginia is going to get it done here. Up next, we got number 14 Penn State versus number 5 Michigan. Michigan, a 10.5-point favorite. They've done really well, got kind of peaked out of the top 4 over because of LSU and the way they've been playing. But I think Michigan is a very highly favorite pick to make the college football playoff with Coach Harbaugh and Shea Patterson. What you got here, Brandon?
I'm going to say Michigan just because of their D-line. I think the D-line wins this game for Michigan. They have one of the best in the country, and I think this just stops Penn State in their tracks.
Yeah, and I think Michigan has done really well since losing to Notre Dame, the opening game. Notre Dame is an incredible team. Brandon knows I'm very high on them. And I think Michigan is one of the better teams in the NCAA. I think it's going to be a very interesting fight to see who gets second place behind Bama, but not a chance for first place. And I think it's going to be an incredible game, but Michigan is going to win this pretty easily with Shea Patterson at the helm at quarterback. And I think it's going to be, especially since they're at home. Up next, we got the game of the week, probably the game of the year. Number 1, Alabama versus number 3, LSU. Alabama is a 15-point favorite on the road in Baton Rouge. Brandon, what do you think here for this?
I think that this is not going to be a good game. I think that Alabama is going to come in and really show people who the best team in the college football is right now. I don't think LSU just has the skill just to match Alabama at all. And I think Alabama's defense shuts them under 14 points.
Wow, that's crazy. I gotta agree with you. The only reason Alabama can lose is if they beat themselves. If Tua gets hurt, if the offense just has a terrible game with Tua gone, Jalen Hurts tries to step up but can't, and the defense plays bad, that is the only way they can lose. And LSU must have a perfect game. But none of that is going to happen because Tua is undefeatable, and so is Coach Nick Saban. So I got to go with Alabama, and I agree with Brandon. I don't think LSU scores 14 points. Up next, we got number 7 Oklahoma versus non-ranked Texas Tech in Lubbock, the blackout game in Jones Stadium. Oklahoma is a 13.5-point favorite. Who you got here, Brandon?
I think that this is going to be a lot better game than people think.
Yeah.
I think Texas Tech has maybe the best Big 12 defense this year, as bad as Big 12 defense is. Um, Texas Tech has proven time and time again that they can defend pass, and they have good Dakota Allen, great run stopper. I think that they shut down Kyler Murray, and they make it a close game, if not a win.
So
It's just all depends on if
is
the
it a
offense
win or
can
is it a loss?
the win and loss all depends if the offense can get going. If the offense is going on all cylinders and going good, no stupid mistakes by Alan Bowman, I think Texas Tech gets the win here.
Ooh, bold prediction. I don't know. I was kind of thinking of that for a bold prediction too, that Texas Tech keeps it way closer than what they should and almost gets a win because, I mean, Oklahoma, they lost a game to Texas, which is a really good team in Texas, but I haven't seen them play very many good teams since. But they're all the way up at number 7. I think Texas Tech has just been waiting and waiting for an upset bid. They didn't get it against West Virginia. Iowa State beat them last week, but I think Alan Bowman and the crew gets it done. I love Kyler Murray and the way he's playing, but I think Texas Tech has something at Lubbock and something that Oklahoma doesn't have, and kind of the under-the-radar attack here. So I think I'm going to agree with Brandon here and say Tech in a very close game because the Texas game was very close too. Up next, our last college football game, we got University of California versus number 8 Washington State. Coach Mike Leach and the crew have been doing very well. Only one loss on the season, and have played really well in high-aspect games. Washington State is the 10-point favorite. Who you got here, Brandon?
I think Washington State's air raid offense is way too much for Cal right here in this situation. This game is not going to be a defensive game. Both teams have pretty underwhelming defensive sides, but I think that Mike Leach's high-powered offense is what wins this game. I think you can expect a shootout here.
Yeah. I'm going to kind of do my bold prediction here. I think Washington State wins very easily, but I think Washington State wins out. I think Coach Mike Leach, like you said earlier before the video, he's being treated like a god in Washington, but I think he kind of deserves to, and I think this team wins out. I think they narrowly missed the college football playoff because they're not a high-aspect team like Ohio State, Notre Dame, LSU, and teams like that that's going to get squeezed in. But I think they end up at about a 5 or a 6 here, and I think Washington State gets an easy win here. Up next, we got our NFL games, the 3-4 Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the 5-2 Carolina Panthers. Carolina is a 6-point favorite at home. Who you got here, Brendan?
I'm going to say Carolina. I think Cam Newton comes out and he balls out this game. He's been doing pretty good. Some people are starting to put him up there at the MVP spot, but the only question about that is his team is not doing well enough for him to really be at the MVP spot. He's putting up great numbers this year, and I think he comes out and he has a great, I'm going to say 3-touchdown pass game.
Yeah. I think Cam Newton is being severely underrated this year. He's led this Panthers team to a 5-2 with basically no receivers and not a very good running game either. Had to use Christian McCaffrey a lot more than what they should. But I got to say the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this. Ryan Fitzpatrick gets his starting job back over Jameis Winston. Mike Evans and Deshaun Jackson have been playing really well together as a 1-2 punch and receiver, maybe the best in the league this year. And I think the Buccaneers kind of take it to the Panthers, kind of have the Panthers stepping back a little bit, but it could flip either way. Up next, we got the 3-4 Atlanta Falcons versus the NFC East leader 5-2 Washington Redskins. Washington, a 1.5-point favorite, 2 weeks ago beat the Cowboys to kind of secure the lead in the NFC East. Who you got here, Brandon?
Say it again.
Washington and the Falcons.
That's a hard one. I think Washington wins this game. Adrian Peterson, 3rd week in a row, has had a good game. I think he's the main factor of this game. And that Washington Redskins O-line has been doing great too.
I got to go with Matty Ice and the Falcons here. I think the Redskins aren't as good as their record suggests. Barely beat the Cowboys. Cowboys struggling away and not really at home, but that was the first time the Cowboys in about a couple or 5 years or so since they've lost at Washington. But I think the Falcons get this game in a really close one because, I mean, Matt Ryan is trying to prove some things, trying to get their guys back into after they started 0-3. And they're trying to get back to where they should be, and they're doing really well. So I got to go with the Falcons here. Up next, we got the 5 wins in a row Houston Texans versus the 3-5 Denver Broncos. Denver is a 1-point favorite against the Texans on this game. Texans just traded for Demaryius Thomas, only for a 4th-round pick from the Broncos, so kind of a revenge game here for both teams. Who you got here, Brendan?
This is going to be a great game. I think this is a chance for Deshaun Watson to prove himself against a great defense, and I think he comes out and he does that. And I think the Houston Texans are going to win this game in a very close battle.
I got to go with the Texans here, too. I think the Texans are one of the best teams in the AFC behind the Chiefs, the Patriots, and the Chargers, I think. I think they're really well. They've played a lot better since the three opening losses, and started with a win against the Cowboys and the Giants, and they've played really well. I think they're going to do really well and at least get 10 wins on the season and maybe even push for an AFC championship. Up next, we got the San Diego Chargers 5-2 versus the Seattle Seahawks 4-3. Seattle is a 2-point favorite at their place, and I think this is kind of a game of the week. I mean, there's a big game with the Rams and the Saints and the Packers and the Patriots, but I think this one is kind of a sleeper game of the week. Chargers have been struggling. Chargers have been doing really good, but Russell Wilson has been carrying the Seahawks team to their record. What do you think here, Brandon?
I think Phillip Rivers balls out this game. I think he has an MVP type numbers game. This game, maybe 4 touchdowns is what I want to say. I think the Chargers are gonna win this one easily. That Seahawks defense isn't what it used to be. It's not the Legion of Boom that it was anymore. I think Chargers are just gonna win by a lot.
But this Seahawks defense has surprised some people in the way they played. Not as good as usual, but they've still been a solid option here for Seattle. But I got to agree with you. I think the San Diego Chargers team is the second best team in the AFC, behind the Chiefs, of course. But I think it's going to be a crazy battle to see who wins this division against Patrick Mahomes and Phillip Rivers. But I'm really high on the Chargers. I always have been since they signed Joey Bosa. But I do think the Chargers are going to win this game. Up next, we got the 8-0 Los Angeles Rams versus the 6-1 New Orleans Saints. It's in New Orleans. New Orleans is a 1-point favorite. Is this the game the Rams lose their first game?
No, the Rams will not lose this game. Although Drew Brees has been another guy who's been putting up MVP numbers this year, he is just not enough. It's just not enough to stop this offense. The Saints' defense, as good as it is, it's just how do you stop Todd Gurley? You can't.
Yeah.
It's going to take a high-powered offense to match the Rams to beat them.
Yeah, and I think the Saints do have a high-powered offense, so that's why I think the Saints are going to give the Rams their first loss of the year. Rams just traded for Dante Fowler from the Jacksonville Jaguars to kind of improve their pass rush, but I think it's going to take a couple of games to get into that firm foundation and that defensive rush, but I think Drew Brees and the Saints get it done, especially since it's at home. Up next, we got Sunday Night Football. The Green Bay Packers 3-1 versus the New England Patriots 6-2. Patriots are a 5.5-point favorite in Foxborough. Who you got here, Brandon?
I'm gonna say Patriots. Patriots just a great team this year. Had a few slip-ups, but I think the O-line is really the big factor in this game.
Yeah,
Patriots have one of the best O-line one of the best O-lines in the league, and I think they don't let Tom Brady get touched, and they let him just play his game.
Yeah, I think the Packers, they're a good team, but they've been playing really awful lately, especially in the pass defense. But I think the Patriots are going to whoop the Packers here. Aaron Rodgers is the best 2 quarterbacks in the game. Aaron Rodgers number 1 by far. Tom Brady's kind of gone down. But I think the Patriots are going to win even though Aaron Rodgers goes off. And I think last game we got the Tennessee Titans 3-4 versus the Dallas Cowboys 3-4. Dallas is a 6-point favorite, has not lost at home at AT&T Stadium, and I think the Cowboys get an easy win here too.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the Titans, they're a good team, a lot of talent, but they have a lot of growing to do until they're a great team. And I think the Cowboys are just gonna come out and Zeke's gonna run for over 200 yards. I think.
Oh wow.
I think they just don't have the defense to stop him this game. I think he's going to do great this game.
I think the bye week kind of helped. And Amari Cooper, new Cowboys receiver, a lot of high praise from the coaching staff, and I think he adds some to the Cowboys. And I think the Cowboys at least get 10 wins this year too. They only need 7 more, which is a lot in the NFL season. But I think it's going to be a step up because the pass offense has been a struggle. And that's all we have for today. I'm Jacob, and this is Brandon. And it has been a great Friday, and we will see you next week.